Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Friday Charge, brought to you by EV Geek Studios. We're your hosts, Joel and Sebastian, and today, August 1st, 2025, as always, we've got a handful of topics to talk about. We've got some more talk about the new Bolt, Ford's got some big things coming up, Mercedes got more complicated, and there's a couple more stories. So, without further ado, let's plug in and get started. All right, our first topic of the night is one that, I'm obviously excited about. The new Bolt gets closer. This week, GM released some teasers of the new Chevy Bolt. This comes shortly after the car was spotted testing, and a lot of what we saw there remains true. For starters, we get a pretty clear view of the new front end of the vehicle, getting some more modern design language. The vehicle's gaining, some more modern design language that we've seen on Chevy's other EV models. We also received confirmation that this car comes with a native NACS port, but that port will remain in the same location on the old as it was on the old Bolt. The old Bolt, which
words are hard, Sebastian.
Words are hard, which is the front driver's side. We also get a small teaser of the car's taillights. We'll see if it ends up getting that full light bar treatment. As we've mentioned previously, the new Bolt is expected to be GM's new, cheapest EV using LFP cells and coming at a time when the US market really needs a good, cheap electric offering. So yeah, I get excited about the Chevy Bolt sometimes, so seeing, yay, official images is exciting. I'm excited for hopefully some more specs to come out. Maybe we get an inkling of an idea on pricing soon. We'll see. They said more info this fall, whatever that means.
Yeah, I have a weird feeling this is going to share it on a smaller scale, a lot of characteristics with the Equinox. So basically, that's what I'm thinking. Equinox small looks like here. NACS, which is good. I'm glad to see everyone's take on that. Not much of a change. I mean, were you kind of hoping? I know as a Chevy Bolt lover, were you kind of expecting more of a drastic change with this, or more a subtle like this, or either way fine with you?
Well, so, we talked about it some on last week's show or the week before last, whichever it was when we saw testing, the spy shots came out. And, it's pretty obvious on spy shots that it is using the body or the frame or whatever, the unibody structure of the last car.
Yep.
It's pretty much unchanged in that regard, which is kind of what we expected. That's how they're going to hopefully be able to build the thing as cheap as possible, to sell it as cheap as possible by using tooling that already exists and whatnot. And so this makes sense. I maybe would have liked a little more change, but ultimately, as long as they get the powertrain right, I think it'll be fine.
And the charging.
That's part of powertrain.
Yep. Sorry.
We know it's going. No, you're fine. We know it's going to have Android Automotive, like their other EVs do. We know it's going to have probably similar driver's assistance features as at least optional. The main thing will be the LFP pack. How much power does it have? How much range does it get? How can it charge? Those will be the important questions, and hopefully we get good answers.
How do you think they'll handle Blue Cruise with this?
Super Cruise? Good question.
Super Cruise, sorry, yep.
The outgoing car had Super Cruise, although it was it was a different version than they're doing on the newer vehicle, so it works on less roads. I would expect they'll probably find a way to, at least like maybe on a top trim level Bolt, have Super Cruise, but the base Bolts won't have it.
Yeah, I guarantee the same thing. So, you're just get it low 30s, high 20s. I mean, heck, you can get Equinox now for low 30s. But I think, $29,995 would be like a perfect price for that, or 20.
I'm hoping a little cheaper. I'm hoping, shoot for the moon 25. I'm hoping starting at like 28.
28?
That's my number.
With your high trims coming in low to mid 30s, I'm guessing.
Yep. Which would honestly pretty well match what the old car did. Because I think you could get the Premier in 2023 for around $34,000. So that's not too far off.
And comparing the specs on that with think about it like a Volvo EX30, it's going to be probably bigger than that. It's probably going to get more range than that, hopefully. I like it. So,
and it hopefully won't be $50,000.
It hopefully won't be $50,000. So
All right, moving on. Ford is preparing for their Model T moment. Again. Ford CEO Jim Farley this week announced that August 11th will, this is quote, August 11th will be a big day for all of us at Ford. We will be in Kentucky to share more about our plans to design and build a breakthrough EV and platform in the U.S. In that same topic, Farley said that this was a Model T moment for Ford. I'm assuming that this is going to be some big reveal for what the Skunkworks EV team has been working on. You know, we've expected that they've been working on a low-cost mass market EV, which would be a Model T. And so hopefully we'll get more info on that and actually see kind of what Ford's plan is.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully maybe it'll be good Bolt competition. We'll see.
When I originally read the article from Farley, he specifically stated they're not going to compete with the Koreans. So I'm thinking they're going to focus more on SUVs and trucks with this. It's my kind of thing. So I don't know if we're going to get a lower end. These are just renderings we're showing on the screen. This is nothing kind of formally released by from Ford. It may have been, I don't know, but these are kind of just, some renderings we're getting some possible EVs. But I see them kind of sticking with the SUV and the truck format and trying not to compete. Maybe they're not going to compete with a Bolt or
I don't know. I see maybe something like an electric Escape type situation, a small Puma SUV deal. But we'll see.
What do you think of the Puma?
I mean, they won't bring it here.
Yeah.
So.
But I could see them bringing the Escape here. I mean, it would.
Well, I mean, the Escape is already here.
So yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I'm thinking, what else do they have overseas besides the Puma?
Well, they have the other market Explorer.
That's what I'm thinking. The Explorer EV. Yeah. So.
But yeah, I'm thinking something probably Escape sized, maybe kind of similar pricing to what you would expect from like a Ford Escape, especially compared to a Mach-E. Maybe it starts at like $30,000. That'd be cool.
So, what are you thinking? Are you thinking with this new platform, they phase out the Mach-E, or think the Mach-E is here to stay?
I think it'll stay. I mean, at some point that we'll probably get a, second generation, and maybe second gen will be based on the new platform. Who knows? But the question is how long until that second gen actually comes around.
Yeah. Because it's getting long in the tooth, and so is the Lightning. So, got to have some sort of plans.
Yep. All right, moving on. Alpitronic is doing all right in the U.S. So Alpitronic, who has only been in the U.S. market for the last 12 months, just want to make that clear, is on track to be the second largest EVSE supplier in the United States. Alpi is expected to account for 12% of all dispensers installed in the U.S. for 2025, which is only second to Tesla, who will have 36%. And I mean, to me, this is just exciting. Obviously, Alpi is not a new company. Mm-hmm. They've been a dominant player in the European market for quite a while now. But seeing the speed at which U.S. players such as Iona, Walmart, Mercedes-Benz, Electrify America, BP Pulse, who else? Anyway, just the speed at which all of these big companies have decided, yep, we're doing Alpitronic units. Like, I mean, that's pretty sweet to me. It's pretty impressive. I'm hoping that we continue to see the reliability they're known for in Europe over here. They are, I believe, building these here in South Carolina, if I remember right, or North Carolina, one of the Carolinas.
I think it's North Carolina.
So sorry. But yeah, hopefully, these new units stay as reliable. Right now it's the HYC 400 is kind of their bread and butter. 400 kilowatts. It's got pretty good granularity. I think it's either 25 kilowatt or 50 kilowatt granularity as far as like power sharing goes on the unit. But they also just have started doing the HYC 1000, which is a 1 megawatt capable dispenser, which also seems like it would be pretty cool.
Holy
and I believe
smokes.
that one can actually do some like distributed power, so you can have multiple dispensers on a cabinet versus the HIC 400 being an all-in-one type unit. But yeah, hopefully we continue seeing growth. Being second place after just 1 year in the market is impressive. There's no other way to put it. Yes, it's only 12%, but I mean, that's 12% of the total market in a year.
Mm-hmm. True. I mean, this was the issue we had, when we first started doing the podcast, was the issue with reliability from charging networks other than Tesla. those original, I believe, was the ABB units from Electrify America and the Sigma units were just not cutting it. I mean, we watch a lot of Kyle Connors videos with the Sigma Surge and all that. They just weren't cutting it. And I think that may have put a bad taste in people's mouth. So I'm glad we're starting to see some more quality companies come in with quality, DC fast chargers. And I think that's what we need. Tesla just can't keep, Tesla is the market leader. And for years, will probably stay the market leader. But they're going to lose market share. They lose market share with their cars. They're going to lose market share with their charging. That's just going to happen. I mean, when there's more competition, you're going to lose market share. And the things we've heard from about Alfie, has been really good. So hopefully they can continue. They can partner with more people and start pushing a lot more of these units out.
Yep. Moving on. Say goodbye to Mercedes EVs in the US for now. So Mercedes this week has suspended all new orders of its EQE and EQS EVs in the US. This comes, last week we talked about how there were some pretty significant price cuts on these models, as up to like $15,000 off for, I believe it was the EQE. And now they're no more, or at least for now. Dealers are no longer able to order these models, meaning what is currently in production or on the ground is it for US stock. Mercedes is planning to halt production of these models, for the US at least, on September 1st. However, it is expected that their Alabama plant will continue building cars to export to other markets. Interesting. Mercedes has also confirmed that the EQB, which is their entry-level EV model, has run its course and will be discontinued after the 2025 model year, or at least for the US and Canadian markets. So this is a little bit of it was a little expected with the current geopolitical climate, but still kind of a bummer because, I don't know that the EQE and EQS have ever sold particularly well, but they're pretty dang solid cars.
Yeah, which one do we drive? We drove
an EQE.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it looks like Cornet's article here from Motor Illustrated that it looks like Canadian orders will be unaffected by this. So, like you said, maybe they're building them in America here for other countries, which kind of sucks because it's a luxury EV, and with the current situation with tariffs, it's just going to there's no way to bring those prices down. In fact, they may have gone up already. We see sales have declined. It looks like here 35 and 32% on the 35% of the EQ and 32% of the EQS. So it's not like they're selling well over here. So yeah, it makes sense for right now, and maybe. What's the other line? What's the CL? What's that model line they were supposed to have coming up for EVs?
Yeah, so it's the new CLA that should be coming soon, and I believe they are still intending to bring that to the US market.
Okay, well that's good.
Which that one, I believe they've just started delivering in Europe. We'll see how long before it comes here, and I know they're working on, I believe, a GLC EV as well. Again, whether or not it comes to the US, we'll see. But yeah, hopefully we continue to see some more Mercedes EVs in the future. The CLA does look like it's a pretty dang impressive machine. It has some weird charger behavior that I think they're gonna fix for the US market, or not do for the US market that they're doing for EU. Like, I believe it was originally announced that you would only be able to charge on DC fast charge stations that support high voltage charging.
Dang.
Because it's an 800 volt class car, and it was going to be in the US as native NACS, which would mean you wouldn't be able to use it on the majority of native NACS stations in the US. But I think they walked that back. I think they did say that for the US market, they would put a I guess not a booster. A booster. To go from 400 to 800 volt. Because I think it was made pretty clear pretty quick that was a very dumb idea. And a dumb suggestion.
Yeah, that'd be like Kia saying you can only charge on high voltage stations. You can't charge at the supercharger. The charging speed sucks on that, but you want to at least have that option.
Right. All right, moving on. Chargepoint is launching charger checkups. So Chargepoint is rolling out a new program that it hopes will enable it to catch failing hardware before it breaks. The new program, called, quote, Safeguard Care, will send techs out to the field to routinely validate Chargepoint stations for full operation. Techs are expected to inspect, clean, and repair the chargers on site and also run a test charge before they go. Chargepoint is starting this program in 6 U.S. states: California, New York, Florida, Massachusetts, Georgia, and Texas. My question on this: how does this work? I was under the impression that Chargepoint's business model up to this point is that they don't own the chargers.
Yeah.
That I thought the line has always been the whole time, and when people have complained about Chargepoint chargers not working in the wild or whatever, the argument has always been, well, it's not Chargepoint's fault because it's up to the property owner or whoever the CPO is to maintain and manage them. So how does this work? Is this a program that's only for property owners and CPOs with some form of maintenance contract through Chargepoint? Is this only for units that are still under warranty? Is there a warranty on a unit, something like this? I don't know, and nothing I was finding earlier seemed to give me any insight on how that actually works. Because this might sound, might sound really cool, like, oh, 6 U.S. states, whatever. But there's a ton of Chargepoint units out in the wild.
There are.
And if it's only applicable to those that are under a maintenance contract or under a warranty, then it's going to only be applicable to probably mostly new installs. Which typically things don't break when they're new. Especially not in a use case where they're being handled by the public.
Yeah, there has to be some way where they can see and talk to these chargers once they're delivered. Because if you're gonna run safeguard tests on it, you're gonna have to be able to see what's going on with it.
So that does exist. I believe they call it like Chargepoint Assure.
So I'm wondering if this is just an added feature to where if you want to pay an extra so-and-so, you have this, and every week or two we run a scan of your system to see if there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm hoping next week I can give you maybe we can come back to this and talk more. I texted JT because I was just curious.
Okay.
And he said he would call me next week. He's out of town.
Okay.
And I was just asked because I wanted to ask him all the questions like, how does maintenance on your units work? Is there a maintenance contract? Do you just buy stuff outright when they break? Like, how does that work? And I was hoping maybe that would give me some insight in how a program like this would work. Because I'm stuck on it makes sense for like Electrify America to fix their chargers because they are the CPO, they own the chargers, it's their network, like they're whatever. And Tesla obviously fixes their own chargers because they're the manufacturer and the CPO. And it's just, if you don't own, that's what I'm stuck on. Is they're not part of a network, right?
Yep.
Like Chargepoint is the network, but Electrify America is a business that operates chargers.
Yep.
Chargepoint up to this point has pretty much just been a business that sells chargers and provides a back end for them.
Yep.
They're not actually in the business of operating and maintaining and scaling and whatever else. They kind of are reliant on people wanting their units. Anyway, so I'm hopefully can give you an update and we can actually get a good answer on this sometime next week. But I didn't have time.
I totally agree. I don't know how this is going to work either. Maybe JT can provide us some insights on how he maintains his chargers and things like that. Something I've actually never talked to him about. So I'd be curious to see how this is going to work. Maybe this is just another way for Chargepoint to make some additional money by running a scan or a system check of your Chargepoint system.
Right. All right. Well, see, we didn't drive anything last week.
No, we did not.
I'm assuming you didn't have anything crazy happen last week.
I've not had anything crazy happen.
Did you see that they're now doing robotaxis in the Bay Area?
I read California? That story, yeah. So it's a very small area.
I don't have this. It's actually a pretty dang big area. I don't have a prepared topic on this, but from what I've initially seen, the pricing is a lot higher than it was in Austin. It's more comparable to what you would just pay for an Uber.
Okay, so like $20-$30 or something like that is what I'm assuming.
And due to California regulation, they're required to have a person in the driver's seat. So, and in the couple videos I saw scrolling through my Twitter feed today, sorry, X feed, whatever you want to call it, the person in the driver's seat is like hovering on that wheel the whole time.
Really?
Which is interesting to me because in Austin they were very adamant, like there was no need to do any physical control on the vehicle, whatever. It was all through the button or whatever else is how they would kind of communicate back if it needed to be tele. But seeing these safety drivers, which in this case they're actually safety drivers, they're not safety passengers like they were in Austin, seeing these safety drivers in the seat and like actively ready to just grab the wheel at any time and drive the car.
What a very stressful job that would. That'd be a very stressful job.
It's just a bit of a weird shift.
Why does Tesla still have to do that, but like Waymo doesn't?
I'm assuming it has to be a time thing.
Okay, gotcha.
Waymo's been operating for a much longer time, but I'm going to actually try to see if I can pull up this Bay Area.
Speaking of Waymo, while you're doing that, 2 driverless Waymo cars crashed into each other in Phoenix Airport.
I saw that.
So, yeah, another news story we didn't talk about. Yeah, y'all can look that up if you want to, but interesting. Yep, they hit each other.
Let's see.
Not a lot of details, but just saw that come across my feed here a couple hours ago.
Yeah, let me share. So this doesn't have a comparison of the Waymo map, but I mean, that's a pretty big area.
Let me make my screen bigger here. It is. I mean, that's San Francisco.
San Jose to San Francisco?
That's whole down. Yeah, that's the whole way down there. Yep.
Of course, I also wonder if they're able to do such a big area because they have someone sitting in the driver's seat, able to take over at any time and just drive the damn car.
I'd love to make the loop. I'd love to start in San Francisco, go down to San Jose, up Fremont, and then come back around. See how curious.
I want to see if I can find versus Waymo.
I'm sure Waymo's is a whole lot bigger.
No, it's the opposite. There we go.
I'd like to apologize for everyone watching on YouTube for I'm having a bad hair day. Just want to mention that.
Yeah, let me open this. Open in open image in new tab. Share. So this is a pretty crude mock-up of the area, but the blue is Waymo.
Oh, wow. So it's a lot bigger, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a pretty crude mock-up, but that's a, and so, yeah, this is interesting. I'm curious to see how it goes. How long is it? Again, this is the same question we asked when they launched in Austin. How long until they can take the person out of the car?
Yep.
Especially how long can they take the Robotaxi driver out of the car for the California one? It's like, this isn't at this point. I wouldn't, there was a lot of talk when they launched in Austin. Is it actually a Robotaxi if there's someone in the front responsible?
Is it a supervised taxi?
And we made the argument for Austin that I would still call it a Robotaxi because the person wasn't actually sitting in a position they could drive in.
Yep.
Right? Yes, it could be teleoperated if it needed to be, but the person in the front of the car was not going to be the one driving the car. I have a lot harder time calling the Bay Area launch a Robotaxi.
If someone's in the driver's seat.
If there's someone in the driver's seat able to take control.
Basically,
how is that any different than, Joel, you going to the Bay Area, deciding you want to drive Uber in your Tesla Model Y that has FSD?
Yep.
And you go pick someone up, and then
you're going to say the exact same thing. What's the difference between me and you go, and sitting there like this with my hands over here, waiting for FSD to mess up? It's kind of the same thing, yeah. I mean...
Yeah, it's like, I wouldn't call that a Robotaxi.
Yeah.
You're just getting an Uber.
With FSD, yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's why I think for marketing purposes, they need to figure out what they have to do to get that driver out of the seat as soon as possible.
Yep.
Because otherwise, they've just reinvented the Uber again.
Gotcha. So I did want to talk a little bit about, we did release a video last week, a couple of days ago, actually a couple of days ago, not last week, about a lot of these NACS to CCS adapters are coming out. So we reviewed one from, honestly, having a channel, y'all, we get inundated with emails every day from companies we've never heard of that we can't pronounce, wanting us to, try their CSS adapter. We did it one time and realized that it wasn't all that. And basically, like you said in the video, it's the same. It's different companies reaching out with the same adapter. So it's just it's what it is. But we have a relationship with EV Base. We worked with EV Base before. We haven't really gotten any bad products from EV Base. So we decided that we were going to try their adapters out. Safety wise, it seemed to be okay. Would you agree?
Yes.
Safety wise, it seemed to be okay. It had what it had.
It with had, an asterisk.
With asterisks, because we couldn't. There was nothing on there that told us the actual output or it could handle. Correct? If I'm saying it right.
Well, so there wasn't on the adapter.
Yep.
On their website, they do claim 500 amp rated.
Yes.
But and this is honestly an issue with all of the adapters.
Yeah.
Even the OEM ones.
Mm-hmm.
They're not UL 2252.
Mm-hmm.
2252 is the adapter one. They're not rated.
Mm-hmm.
They're not UL rated. There's only currently, as far as I know, one adapter that is UL rated. And it is manufactured by Amphenol, and it is not available to the general public.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they'll give you a UL rating, but it could be for the plastic or something like that. So
they love doing that.
Well,
they love saying
UL
UL
rated,
certified.
And then we look it up, it's the outer plastic.
It's saying that the plastic won't catch on fire.
Yeah. So
it'll melt.
Yeah.
But
just be like if we know a lot of people are going to start buying these adapters and they're not going to want to pay. I mean, they're not that expensive. I mean, with discount codes, you can check our videos. We have discount codes. You can get a quality adapter for what, 150, 160 with the discount. It's not bad. I mean,
yeah.
And the one we got from EV Base, like we said, wasn't bad, and that was about $100. So with a discount code. So yeah, just do your research on these. That's all we're saying, because you really don't know what you're getting. And yeah it's different when
you're ultimately.
Go on.
Oh, sorry. You were probably about to say what I was going to say. Go ahead.
I probably not, but I was going to say I mean, it's okay to buy a cheap iPhone charger from Amazon for $10 because you're charging an iPhone. You're not charging something that's pushing 500 volts through it. So that you can and actually, no, I've actually had issues with a cheap iPhone charger on my son's bed catching fire at night because he got underneath his bed and it got too hot and burned a hole the size of a penny in his mattress because that's what happened. And think of that larger scale in your car. So that's essentially what I was going to get at.
Yeah. You're plugging this adapter into a DC fast charger that's probably like $50,000.
Yeah.
Let's just say a number. I don't actually know. And then you're plugging it into your car that is $30,000 to over $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
You really gonna put a $50 piece of plastic and some metal in between the two?
Yep.
When you're talking about pushing 250,000 watts through it,
Yeah.
Like your iPhone charger is like 20.
Yeah.
20 watts. Are you really going to buy a NACS to CCS adapter that is the same price as some portable power banks for your iPhone?
Yeah.
Anyway, and all that to say, but in the short use, it seemed like the EV base one was fine.
Yep.
But
we don't know what it's going to be like 3 or 4. It all depends how much you use it too. We try it one time and it works. We don't know how these cheaper adapters are going to hold up. Actually, we don't know how a lot of these adapters are going to hold up if you're using them 50 to 100 times a year. We don't have that data yet because it hasn't happened a lot yet. So I mean, just be cautious with that. If you can afford a $50,000 EV, you should be able to afford a $150 quality adapter. So just do your research. Just do your research and make sure you're getting a quality one. That's all we're saying. So
yeah, and I mean, we've recommended in the past A to Z.
Yep.
A to Z is actively working on UL certification on their adapter. They have recalled a previous adapter because it wouldn't meet the UL certification in their own testing after they released it was.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to understand too, a big reason you don't see UL 2252 on a lot of these adapters is the requirements for UL 2252 are pretty damn intense.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that's my second damn for the show. Third. Anyway, the requirements, if I'm remembering correctly, or at least this was when it was initially published, it has to be able to withstand like 500 amps for an hour. without the outer shell getting above a certain temperature.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't no car that you can buy right now that will hold 500 amps for over an hour.
Yeah.
If it was pulling 500 amps for over an hour, that's a really, really, really big battery.
Yeah.
Or really, 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 really low voltage.
Yeah.
So, that's part of the reason of the struggle for that. And I believe the Amphenol one that is UO listed is technically only rated for 350 amps.
Yep.
Which is probably why we haven't seen any OEMs grab onto it yet. Although I guess that would be fine for Hyundai Kia.
Yep.
Because they don't pull more than 350 amps. Because they're high voltage.
And the one
anyway.
I have the Typhoon plug from Electron. Electron's been making charging equipment for a while now. They're not just new to the market. I mean, I have a level 2 charger downstairs. That's Electron adapter. So, I mean, Electron charger, sorry. So they've been in the business a while. They've been doing this. Right. And they actually have a company website that you can go to and get questions on. A lot of the things you order from Amazon, they don't have that. There's nowhere to contact customer service or if you have questions or check things up. And they could be there one day and gone the next. So, basically what you're saying is do your research and just don't chimp. Just don't cheap out on those things.
If it smells bad, it probably is bad. Yeah. If it looks bad, it probably is bad.
Yep. This is our PSA for the day. So there you go.
If you get on Amazon and you see there's 7 adapters that all have the exact same photos, but they're all from 7 different brands, probably not the one to buy. Yep. Fight me. I don't know. Yep. Anyway, that's my PSA for today.
There we go.
All right. Well, unless you have any more sidebars you want to go through.
No sidebars, just want to release that. If you're curious about the EV base adapter, we have that video up. It's not a long video. Check it out. Sorry for some of the sound quality, but we were beside a freeway and ambulances and cars, burn out and rev their engines real high. So it just happened. So, but yeah, it's a good video. Not a bad adapter. Like I said, I would probably not have a problem using it on the road if I have to, but yep.
Yeah. And we have our friend, Crispo, which he has also got the adapter. I believe he's got a video coming out on it this week. Mm-hmm. And he actually was able to charge it at 500 amps.
There you
because
go.
He has a Lightning.
Yep.
We had to test it on an EV6 that was also on a 125 kilowatt station, which is more than it would get on a Tesla supercharger.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah.
But he was able to actually test it on 500 amps. And not to spoil his video, I did watch it. I have seen it because I asked him some questions before we released ours to make sure we were on the same page, that he didn't test his at 500 amps and it caught on fire or something.
Yeah. Since
I knew ours was coming out first. And it seemed to work fine.
Good.
So
good. Go head over to Bow Family EV and check that out when it comes out next week.
Yep. All right. Well, that is a wrap for today's episode. Thank you all for plugging into the Friday Charge. Be sure to subscribe to EV Geek Podcasts on YouTube and tap the notification icon to be notified about new releases. Next week, we will release a review of a 2023 Chevy Bolt EUV Premier, and in that one, Joel drives, not me, because I don't need to drive the Bolt.
But it's rough. It's a rough drive. Not in the car. Just me driving and trying to multitask. It's
not the car's fault. Joel has ADHD or something.
Take an Adderall before you watch that video if you have it prescribed to you. Yes.
Anyway, if you guys have any thoughts or questions, be sure to drop them in the comments below because we would love to hear from you. So long, everyone, and we will see you on the next episode of the Friday Charge.